I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have a roll call, Ms. Stanford?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hairston?
Present.
Mr. Williamson?
Here.
Mr. Corrado? Ms. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Hoagie?
Here.
Ms. Howard?
Present.
Mr. Lupton? Ms. Matthew Stinson?
Here.
And Mr. Webster?
Here.
Thank you.
I can say that we do have a quorum, so we can conduct business. Oops. First thing, the next thing on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. You should have received or have in your place a revised agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the agenda as presented as revised?
Move to accept the revised agenda.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The minutes of the meeting of September 3rd, 2019 were presented for review to all board members prior to today's meeting. Unless there is any board member who requests a reading of the minutes, I will ask if there are any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented. Having heard no requests for a reading of the minutes, nor any corrections or additions, the minutes stand approved as presented. Committee reports. The Planning Committee, Ms. Howard.
Yes, good afternoon. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on September 17th, and as a result, the Planning Committee is recommending 2 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 2, revised customer and business development policy number 2, major service and fare change. The purpose of this action item is for the RTA to revise its policy in response to recommendations from the Federal Transit Administration by including its definition of a major fare change within the approved policy for major service changes. The policy will be used to determine what constitutes a major fare change and that both major service and fare changes follow RTA's public outreach and participation process. Mr. Brandon Palachicchio provided a detailed presentation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Palachicchio is available to answer any questions you may have. Hearing none, based upon the recommendations of the Planning Committee, I move to adopt revised Customer and Business Development Policy number 2, major service and fare change.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second to accept action item number 2, revised customer and business development policy number 2, major service and fare change. Question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 2, revised customer and business development policy number 2, major service and fare change is approved.
Action item number 3, transit fare structure adjustments. The purpose of this action item is to improve accessibility by expanding payment options for RTA customers with the upcoming implementation of the new fare payment system. As a result, these changes require updates to the existing fare payment structure. Mr. Palachicchio provided a detailed presentation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Palachicchio is available to answer any questions you may have. Based upon the recommendation of the Planning Committee, I move to adopt Attachment A, Greater Dayton Regional Transit Authority fare structure to be effective October 1st, 2019. Furthermore, that the Chief Executive Officer be authorized to do all things necessary to implement the new fare structure, methods of payment, and fare media.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept action item number 3, transit fare structure adjustments. Question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions. Motion carries. Action item number 3 is approved for transit fare structure adjustments.
In addition, at the committee meeting, Mr. Policicchio provided a summary document of recent activities in the Customer and Business Development Department, which included an update on Dayton Public Schools LS service beginning September 30th. The department is also promoting Breast Cancer Awareness Month through a new partnership with the American Cancer Society. Downstairs, after the board meeting, you can view RTA's brand-new pink bus, which will circulate along various routes month of October. It includes messaging about how to participate in the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk in Dayton on October 19th. Will be staged at the event. This concludes my report, Madam President. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. We move on now to the Finance Personnel Committee. Mr. Lumpkin.
Thank you.
Perfect timing.
I tried my best to miss this part. My apologies. I'm on my way back from Columbus. The Finance and Personnel and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on September 17th. As a result, the committee is recommending 2 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 4, bus wash, fuel bay, and service lane renovation. The purpose of this procurement is for RTA to contract with a qualified contractors for bus wash, fuel bay, and service lane renovations at 600 Longworth Street and 601 Longworth Street facilities. This project is consistent with RTA's core values of safety and stewardship, as our commitment to maintain our facilities in a state of good repair is demonstrated. The successful contractor will provide needed renovations to enable 3 new bus wash systems to be installed, 2 at the 600 Longworth facility and 1 at the 601 Longworth facility. The contractor will be responsible for all labor, materials, required permits necessary to complete the project. Mr. Brown is presented this action item at the committee's meeting, and all associated details are included in today's board package. He's available to answer any questions that the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move to award a contract to Belgray Incorporated for a total of $1,522,936 plus a 15% contingency of $228,440 to cover unknown items that may arise once the renovation is underway, for a grand total award up to $1,751,376. This procurement will be funded with 80% through federal capital grant funds.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept action item number 4, bus wash, fuel bay, and service lane renovations. Question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions. Motion carries. Action item number 4, bus wash, fuel bay, and service lane renovations is approved.
Action item number 5, resolution number 2019-10-1, authorizing staff to seek fast, act flexible funding to support transit projects. RTA has been notified by the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, MVRPC, regarding the solicitation of new transportation projects under the Congestion Mitigation, Air Quality, and Surface Transportation Program. Once submitted, applications for the proposed new projects are to be reviewed and evaluated for possible inclusion on the State Transportation Improvement Program. In reviewing the region's transportation needs, staff has developed a project list that is eligible for flexible funding. and the proposal has been scrutinized in the context of MVRPC practices and policies. Competition for these funds is expected to be substantial, and the applications are due in by the fourth quarter and require board's approval of the attached resolution. Mr. Rosinski presented the action item to at our committee meeting, and all associated details are included in today's board package. He's available today to answer any questions that the board might have. Hearing none, unless that was an objection or a question. Based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move to approve resolution number 2019-10-1, authorizing the submittal of all necessary documents and the fulfillment of all requirements in order to obtain additional funding for projects approved by the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept action item number 5, resolution number 2019-10-1, authorizing staff to seek FAST Act flexible funding to support transit projects. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 5, resolution number 2019-10-1, authorizing staff to seek FAST Act flexible funding to support transit projects is approved.
Additional items to mention, June 2019 sales tax update. Ms. Beer stated that the 2019 sales tax receipts equal $3.5 million. They exceed June 2018 by $212,000 or 6.4%. Receipts exceed June 2019 budget by $214,000 or 6.5%. Year-to-date, June 2019 sales tax receipts equal $19.2 million. Receipts exceed the year-to-date June 2018 by $614,000 or 3.3%. And they exceed the year-to-date June 2019 budget by $604,000 or 3.3%. It's important to note that when comparing sales tax revenue to 2017 and previous years, funding is off by about $4 million as a result of the lost Medicaid managed care tax. We are on target with budget. However, the budget incorporates the reduction resulting from lost Medicaid managed care tax. The August 2019 financial statements. Ms. Beer reported that for the month of August 2019, the net loss before federal and state depreciation is $343,132. This compares to an August 2018 net gain before federal and state depreciation of $449,715. The $792,847 negative shift is primarily due to lower operating revenues and higher insurance and purchase transportation, coupled with no state transitional aid for 2019. Year-to-date August 2019 net loss before federal and state depreciation is $952,469. This compares to year-to-date August 2018 net loss before federal and state depreciation of $140,027. The $812,442 negative shift is primarily due to the elimination of state and transitional aid for 2019, offset by lower operating expenses and a significant change in the fair value of investments. Financial results are on target regarding budget. However, it's critical to note that the budget reflects nearly $3 million in losses. A long-term resolution to this financial imbalance is currently under discussion by the board and executive staff. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Lumpkin. We'll move on now to the Chief Executive Officer's report.
You may call me whatever you like. You're the president of the Board of Trustees.
Smart answer.
Just have a few informational items. As you're all aware by now, we did give Greyhound an extension yesterday morning, and that's through the month of October. It's our sense they will finalize one of their multiple options they seem to be working on for a new location. Most of which, from what I can tell, are served by our fixed route, so there hopefully won't be a problem there. We will continue to stay in touch with them to make sure that happens, and hopefully we'll have a little smooth transition at the end of October. It was mentioned the Dayton Public Schools LS service started yesterday. I want to commend a whole lot of folks for the launch here, most especially Mr. Cole, who's primarily responsible for the launch side of getting this done and all his various departments. Brenda, of course, well, she's still working on recruiting. We had a good day yesterday. We still need a few more. We've got a bunch in training, but we're getting there. It's not an easy thing on short notice, but we're getting there pretty quickly. Darren's group in maintenance did a great job getting the buses ready. I was really impressed with that. They were ready to go well in advance. I don't see Roland here. Ms. Finch, did you assign him a tripper to run this afternoon? And obviously, Ms. Finch is still awake. She probably hasn't slept much in the last few days, making sure there's a body in every one of the buses that needs to go out. So, you know, it's a mix of a lot of help from our union folks who are volunteering to work, plus we've got some supervisors out there driving. As we get more people out of training, that will reverse itself out, and it will be fine. If there's been a problem, I'd say some confusion with kids not knowing what bus to get on in the afternoon is the biggest one. So we've had people at the schools. I was at Belmont High School yesterday watching that one. That's our biggest. We have 12 buses that service Belmont and LS. And that always takes time when you have something like this that's new. So I think that'll clean itself up in the next, probably by the end of next week, hopefully we'll have things ironed out. There was a little hiccup with some charter schools. We're working that out. I spoke with the superintendent yesterday. It'll all be straightened out here in the next few days. So it's all good, and that was good news, good start. I felt very good about the way things went off yesterday. And again, Chris and your team, fabulous work. Wait till you see what I've got for you next. Not just kidding. One thing that we had not said publicly, but we did, I guess it's been about, I think it was a week ago today. We were approached by some folks in Yellow Springs who wanted to do an event. It's the business community in Yellow Springs wanted to help the Oregon District folks who are still suffering from, you know, the effects of the mass shooting. So they decided to have a day where they wanted to bring Oregon District workers to Yellow Springs and basically treat them. So we ran service for that, and we ran a shuttle that day. And I talked to some of the people who actually were involved in the shuttle, and people really loved it. It was a neat one-day event, and we were certainly happy to do that, and wonderful idea by the Yellow Springs folks to want to do that, which is really good. Last item I have today, I spent about an hour and a half on the University of Dayton campus at the Fit Center today, and I had a blast. I got to, it was a cool environment. I had not been in this teaching space that they have, that they referred to as the cage. There were 3 different classes going on at once. The group I was with had some engineering students, certainly some urban planners, and I was thoroughly impressed by the level of enthusiasm they had. They've been looking at us. They've been studying data they got from our planning folks. They've been riding buses. They've been in our transit centers, and they would like to help us if they can. And it was just very reassuring, you know, sitting with a group of people that age to see that kind of energy and enthusiasm for what we do. So we're going to connect them to more of the people on our staff, and we'll just work them to death if that's what they want. But I was very impressed, and I know Tom's proud of what happens over there, but it was just the environment itself was really cool. And it's the first time I've worked with engineering students before, but this program they're in, they have to take in everything that surrounds the environment that they're engineering in, and that's the political, the social, all of it. And I thought, wow, it's a really cool concept, and obviously I had a great time. It was a really neat event, and I look forward to doing it some more in the future. And unless there are questions, that's all I have to report.
Any questions of him? Come on, task him with something. Okay, old business. Any old business that we need to, or I should say unfinished business, that sounds better than old, that we need to address? New business. Under new business, we have a new business item number 1. And I didn't assign anybody to handle this.
Well, there you go, take it.
Dave, why don't you handle
I will
that?
be glad to teach.
Thank you.
So, Resolution number 2019-10-2, authorizing staff to seek FAST, F-A-S-T, Act flexible funding to support transit projects. The Greater Dayton Regional Transit Authority has been notified by the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission regarding the solicitation of new transportation projects under the Congestion Mitigation Air Quality, Transportation Alternatives, and Surface Transportation Program. Once submitted, applications for the proposed new projects are to be reviewed and evaluated for possible inclusion in the State Transportation Improvement Program. In reviewing the region's transportation needs, staff has developed the attached project that is eligible for flexible funding, and the proposal has been scrutinized in the context of MVRPC practices and policies. Competition for these funds is expected to be substantial. Applications are due October 9 and require the board's approval of the attached resolution. The Chief Executive Officer recommends approval of this resolution, authorizing the submittal of all necessary documents and the fulfillment of all other requirements in order to obtain additional funding for projects approved by the MVRPC. The resolution has been distributed to all board members prior to the meeting. And based upon the recommendation of the Chief Executive Officer, I move for approval by the Board of Resolution 2019-10-2, authorizing the submittal of all necessary documents and fulfillment of all other requirements to obtain funding for projects approved by the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that resolution number 2019-10-2 be approved, authorizing staff to seek FAST Act flexible funding to support transit projects. I don't know why I keep having trouble with FAST Act, but anyway. Questions?
Yes, I have, excuse me, I have a question. The project description is an update of the current bike sharing program, including e-bikes and so forth and so on. What will be our responsibility compared to the bike share program we're presently in?
Currently. First and foremost, Bike Miami Valley on its own, they could not directly apply for these funds. That was, an MVRPC was looking for a partner, which would have to have been City of Dayton or somebody like us. And we wanted, of course, MVRPC to remain happy. So we did that. So Bike Miami Valley has been doing a study for about the last year regarding what the future might look like, how to make the bike share more, I would say, effective. And so they looked at a number of different options. They've kind of landed on an option that will include, I'm just going to say the word I know, which is dockless, because there's another more polite term for it. And that that they would infuse some e-bikes into the system, and they could be parked in areas that have a geofence, so they're a location, but they're not a bike rack, so to speak, and they would be additions to the system to try and enhance it as we move forward. And there would also be some upgrades to the existing bikes. They're now 5 years old. They need a little upgrading to some degree, and I think that's what some of the funding is. And the idea is to make not nearly the investment that was originally made, but make an investment to improve the system, and hopefully they'll get the return they're looking for. And they're doing this from the money they have in reserve, assuming they get funded through one of these programs. And then from there, it's like everything else. You know, that program is heavily reliant operationally on its sponsors. So the sponsors will still have to play a role. There's been debate about outside factors like scooters and you know what impact they will have, but this is the idea to kind of bring it to that next level. E-bikes, very popular in the cities that have them. Newsflash to some people, you don't just sit on them and push a button, you have to actually pedal still. But they do have an electric assist. So there's a belief that adding that and some of the dockless option, because one of the options was add a lot more stations. The stations are the most expensive asset in the system, so this is a different approach to do it for less money and see if that has the impact that they desire.
Are there required match funds? Are there required matching funds?
There are, and Bike Miami Valley has those in their account. There will be no RTA cash involved. In fact, we had a meeting Brandon and I did with Bike Miami Valley leadership. I'm on the board, but and we made it clear, going forward, because there are some other options to really grow the bike share system, and we said we're at a limit to our in-kind contribution. So in the future, if there's going to be significant growth, we're going to need compensation to offset that.
Mark, we presently repair the existing bikes that we have. We'll have that same responsibility under this program?
We will, yes, to the extent that it doesn't require any additional manpower.
Okay. So that, I infer from that, we'll use our existing facilities and all of that?
We will, yes.
Any other questions? For those in the audience, this is a new item that is being presented to us today, and it had not been presented prior to our committee or at our committee meeting. And this is just an example of what happens at the committee meetings. We go through these board meetings kind of quickly, but when we have a committee meeting, it takes a lot longer because these types of questions do come up. So we are not just a sign-off board. So I just wanted to kind of mention that. I know it's kind of preaching to the audience based on who's here, since you're all basically staff for the most part, and those that are not have come to our committee meetings also. But it's just an idea of what happens at committee meetings. We don't just sign off on activities that come up. So having said that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item New business item number 1, resolution number 2019-10-2, authorizing staff to seek FAST Act flexible funding to support transit projects is approved. I have been made aware of no public comments, so we will move right along to our board member announcements. Ms. Howard, do you have any announcements that you'd like to make?
I was just really happy to see and hear about the new partnership with the American Cancer Society, and the bus looks great. And it's another example of how this organization connects with the community, and I think our staff should be commended for reaching out and making this happen.
Great.
I was going to say the same thing. I caught the bus on the way in, noticed it, and it looks great. So.
Ms. Stinson? No comments? Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Mr. Harrington, who, along with myself and Ms. Stenson's husband, every Thursday evening at Madden Golf Course, strive mightily to earn the Dockrite Golf League trophy and cup. And just this past week, Mr. Harrington and his partner were league champions.
Oh, congratulations.
Once again, like my beloved Cleveland Indians, it's wait till next year. That's all.
All right. Well, I just saw you take your glasses off, and I just have never seen. It was like he just broke his glasses to take them off. Okay, moving right along, Franz.
I'll reiterate what was already said about the bus on breast cancer. I think it's a beautiful bus, and the symbolism is wonderful, and I think it's going to be very effective in the community. However, sometime in the future, I think we should consider having one for prostate cancer.
Duly noted.
Yes.
What color would we use?
That was the question that came up earlier. think
I
it's
do not have the answer to that. The bus does actually look very nice, pulling up the month that everyone is doled out in pink. I am currently looking for the person who shared with my children that they are allowed to ride the scooters, because I had been pulling off the lie that they had to be 18. And this weekend, they were able to partake in that in the Oregon district. They weren't struck by any vehicles, and they didn't strike any any pedestrians. So they were fun, and I didn't fall off my scooter.
Oh.
So that was the real highlight of that. So that was a nice addition to modal transportation throughout our city.
They have a lower sense of gravity than you do, so that's why.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say.
why, falling off was, I had preordained I was going to fall off, called the paramedics already, but didn't, and went down a brick street. So I was proud of myself.
Oh, wow, wow. And it's tall enough for you? I was thinking.
it is
Then I would have liked to have seen that. That would have been a good visual.
Tim Conway on the little bus.
Right. Ms. Hurd.
I have no comments other than I did appreciate the way things were handled with Greyhound and the news and RTA. So we took the high road,
Okay.
and I like the pink bus.
Well, I'll just like to say that I think the pink bus, as Sharon had mentioned and the rest of the board members have mentioned, is just another example of the community involvement that RTA has, and that we don't get the recognition, I feel, that we should get for the involvement that we have with positive items within the community. And I think that's just another big example. So having said that, a hand to RTA. Moving along on the agenda, there is no need to request an executive session that I am aware of. Our next board meeting is November 5th and December 3rd. Please mark your calendars. Mr. Lumpkin. Oh, did I say that out loud? And committee meetings are October 17th for the Investment Advisory, October 22nd for the jointly held Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committee, November 19th, and December 17th for the others. Mr. Lumpkin. Okay, and I will now at this point accept a motion to adjourn. All right. Consider us adjourned.